And nothing in this climate change bill says how it will be achieved or what will be the cost to Australia of reducing our carbon dioxide production and what impact it'll have on global temperatures. I can't tell you that. Sign a blank check.
They can't, because exactly, and as you pointed out, the fundamental basis for any policy or any legislation must be the quantified specific effect of carbon dioxide from human activity on temperatures or rainfall or snowfall or droughts or floods or storms. But they have never done that, which means they can never come up with any estimate of what will happen as a result of cutting. They can never do any cost-benefit analysis. They can never do any tracking of progress. There is no accountability, and sadly, this is reflection on Parliament under both governments, both Liberal, Labor and National, both Liberal, National and Labor for the last few decades. They don't make decisions based on data.
Absolutely. And yet, this is a policy which will have a massive impact. We often talk about electricity and energy. What about transport and agriculture?
Alan, what about manufacturing? What about defence when we can't make our own ammunitions, when we can't make our own ships and planes? What happens when we can't even support our troops in an engagement? What happens when we lose all of our manufacturing? The Chinese are smart people, and they're treating us like mugs, because we are mugs, Alan. They are building coal-fired power stations because that's the cheapest form of power there is. And while they're using that coal-fired energy to make solar panels and wind turbines, which they export to us, then we subsidise their installation, we subsidise their ongoing running costs, and they're destroying our power prices. They're lifting them through the roof. So what happens as a result? Because the number one cost component for manufacturing is electricity. It's no longer labour. It's electricity. So when we destroy our electricity because of the high prices of electricity, we destroy our manufacturing. We're destroying our agriculture. Farmers are in the last drought, Alan, told me in North Queensland, Central Queensland, Southern Queensland, they would not irrigate their fodder crops. In a time of drought, they would not produce fodder, because the price of pumping electricity for pumping water was too prohibitive. I mean, this is affecting our food, it's affecting our processing, it's affecting our manufacturing.
Yeah, well, I've called it the national economic suicide note. I've said that for years and years and years, and that's being borne out. Just before you go, do we learn nothing from Texas and Germany and Europe?
Well, look at California. Just last week, they said, I think it was Tuesday, they said, we want to have only electric vehicles by 2030. 2 days later, just 2 days later, Alan, they were saying, by the way, if you've got an electric vehicle, you may have trouble charging it during the next coming period because we'll be having shortages of electricity. This is insane. They're going to dramatically increase the prices of electricity even further, because they'll be adding increased demand, anywhere from 30% to 100% increased demand because of cars needing to be charged. This is insane.
It is insane. Look, we'll have to get you back to just talk about that specific issue about electric vehicles. But just for tonight, can we just finish on this point? This is Senator Malcolm Roberts. You can tell by listening to him he's done his homework. And you are saying to our viewers, not a single politician can say what measurable impact these emissions reduction policies will have on any aspect of climate or weather.
Correct. And what's more, I asked for evidence for this in the debate last week in the committee stage, the week before, and Senator McAllister, who's pushing this through the Senate, she's the assistant minister in charge of this, she gave me 20 papers. Not one of them has any evidence. And what's more, Alan, the papers are titled things like this: Ecological Responses to Recent Climate Change. This is the result of, this is not the cause, a globally coherent fingerprint of climate change impacts across natural systems. This is the presumed result. But get this, this is one of her evidence. This is part of her evidence. Biological response to climate change on a tropical mountain. She does not understand cause and effect, let alone data.
No idea, Malcolm. We'll leave it there. We'll have you back, don't worry. We'll have you back. When you're sick of saying it, out there they're starting to hear it. Good to talk to you, my friend. There he is. Outstanding, isn't he? Senator Malcolm Roberts, outstanding stuff. And we will have him back and talk to him again.